My name is Carina Gardner, and I'm what you would call a practical designer. If you're ready to create a life that you love, become an incredible force for good, and generate income while pursuing your dreams, this is the podcast for you. Welcome to Make and Design.
Do you ever feel like your life needs more creative balance? I wanted to talk to you about a few things that will help you think about your life in terms of bringing creativity into it and making sure that it feels kind of balanced. And I really say this because as I'm looking at my current creative state, I'm realizing there are quite a few imbalances, and that's why I'm feeling a little bit off. So if this is you, I think you are going to love these quick little thoughts and tricks that I have about creative balance. So the first thing is there's a yin and yang to everything, right? So there's like opposites that we talk about in design. You maybe have heard me talk about do the work, do the work, do the work. And then you hear me once in a while saying you need to rest, right? Those feel like polar opposites. They feel like things that how are we doing both of these? How are we making this happen? And the answer is that we do it one at a time, right? So when I talk about things that are kind of in opposition with each other, the goal is not to rest at the same time as doing stuff. That's impossible. But instead, finding a balance in your life and figuring out how it's going to work out nicely for you. Okay, so let's talk about that very first one, which is rest versus being productive. So creative balance says that we are resting, and because we're resting, we have the energy necessary to be productive. And then vice versa, we're very productive, and then we're able to rest, okay? So those two things go really nicely together, and we have to make sure we're doing both of them. So how does this actually look in my actual life? So I work a little bit longer of a day than most people. And my goal is to really scale it back. Right now, I work usually from 7 to 5, and then I usually take a rest. I take a break with my family. I'll do some other things, and then I'll come back to work for about an hour in the evening. And one of my goals is actually to work from about 7 to 3 and kind of cut back so that I'm more working I guess what is that, 5, 6, 7, an 8-hour day, like a regular 8-hour day versus what I'm working right now. And I think at some point I'll be able to move it back to even 7 to 1. In my design life, when I was just designing, when I didn't own the several companies that I currently do, I really could work more minimal hours and really enjoy myself and do the things I wanted to do. So I actually, in a weird way, I kind of worked more but worked less because I could rest more because my brain rested while I was doing production work, or I would go outside and hang out on my pool with my kids, and then I would come back in and I would rest. That would be my rest, and I could get back to being productive. So there should be a balance there. In the evenings, like being able to walk away, read a fantastic book, hang out with my kids, go out with my sisters, which I've been doing a lot of those things this summer, really does make it possible for me to get really, really excited and able to do the productive work that I need to do. Okay, so creative balance, rest versus being productive. We need both. Here's another one. How about letting your mind fantasize about your vision for your design life or your design business, okay? I think this is actually a really important thing. It's like big, big dreaming. And I love talking about big dreaming. But then there's the opposite piece of that, which is bringing yourself back to earth to do the work so that you are grounded in what you're doing and it's not just a fantasy. Those two things are really in opposition with each other, but you technically need to have both in order to have creative balance. And this is really important, more important than people realize, because sometimes we get people who are just doers and they just do the work. They do the work, and their work and their art life and their fulfillment life, it all becomes very monotonous, predictable, and not very fun, okay? And we don't want it to be like that, even though you need to be grounded in reality. There's also the people who are grounded in reality to the point where they're kind of swiping away all the big dreams, and you don't want that either. You don't want someone who's just like, oh, that can never be done because logically X, Y, and Z. Like that person's no fun to be around either, okay? So your other part of your personality, the fantasize part, that part is a really beautiful part, but sometimes it can take over. I see this all the time when I'm working with designers, people who fantasize about their dream life, what they want it to be, and it's so crazy. They never sit down and they never ground themselves in reality and do the work. Those people, I would say you've got to make sure that you've got that creative balance in the work piece, right? Dream really big, but then go and do the work. And I really love fantasizing. I give myself a little bit of time every single day to fantasize about my big dreams for my life, for my design business, for the things I want to design and make, for my artwork. That feels really good to me. It also keeps me motivated and actually keeps me more grounded, because then I'm like, you know what, Carina, if you want these big things, you got to do the work for it. And I'm motivated to do it. So you can see how those two things have a really good creative balance to them. All right, one last one. The obsession with editing. Okay, so like we all have to edit our work. Right now, we're about to start fall semester for the university. And, as I am grading things and looking through it, I'm pretty nitpicky. I'm going to say, we got to fix this and we got to change the colors and we need a better focal point and we need to work on better fonts, right? Those are things that I'm always talking about and trying to get us better. But that editing, that happens a lot in the fundamental stages. At some point, we have to, the opposite end of the creative balance piece is not obsess over perfectionism. And I see this being a problem as well. So both the person who won't edit as much as they ought to, and then the person who is so obsessed with editing that they are waiting for their stuff to be perfect before they're willing to post it. Those two things, there is a creative balance there where you edit enough to make it worthwhile, ready to go, ready to sell. And then the opposite end, which is like, it's done, stop editing it, it's time to put it up and not be a perfectionist about it. Sorry. A little stumbling there. So I think there is a lot there, and you can find yourself really heavy on one side or the other, and your goal is to balance that and say, how can I make this a more in tune thing so I don't have cognitive dissonance, so I feel like in alignment with myself, right, as I am doing these things. Okay, so I think that there is a way for us to find creative balance in our daily lives. And just so you guys know, I will tell you one of my biggest faults is, especially in the creative balance of letting your mind fantasize versus bringing yourself back to earth to do the work. I tend to be a doing the work. And so things will start feeling monotonous. And then I'm like, you know what, Carina, it's time to dream a little bit again, right? I kind of have to tell myself, hey, go dream a little bit. If you're the opposite of that, then you have to put time on your calendar to do the work, right? So you can find that balance sitting on your calendar even, right? I can look at my calendar, I know where I am. Or how about the rest being productive? I can see I am resting too much, or I'm being way too productive and I need to have more time to rest. I actually am pretty good at this. I think I'm relatively high productivity, but you'll notice, and you guys have seen it on my YouTube channel, I actually go play a lot. I play really hard. I work extremely hard, but that's how I feel great about playing really hard. And I'm really in it. When I'm playing, I am playing. And when I'm resting, I am really resting. And especially at the end of the night, I get really excited to be done, to go hang out with my kids, to rest, to eat some great food, to exercise, or whatever it is I want. And I'm very, very excited about it. And you should be too. Resting is a really important part of this thing. And then I did talk about editing versus being obsessed over perfection. And hopefully you know where you are on that. Now, there are some other ones that you can probably think of. I actually would love to hear those. Because one of the other things I thought about is sharing your work, right? That's one creative balance, or putting your work on sale. But then on the other side, letting go of what the results may be. And people don't realize, when you put your work out there to be sold, they hang on to the results. And so then it feels like it hurts. That's not how creative balance really works. You put your work out there, you share it, you sell it, and then you release yourself from whatever those results may be, or any criticism you might get for it. Instead, you treat it like an object, like something that you did, you're really proud of, and then you move on. And that's the power of really taking a look at the way you're doing things and finding that creative balance, because you can have both. Everyone says you can't have, like, you can have both. You can fantasize and you can be productive. You can rest and be productive, right? Oh, sorry, I guess fantasize and be down to earth about what you're doing. You can edit and not be a perfectionist. There is a balance. There's moderation in all things. I really believe that. And most of us are just trying to find that moderation point. And if you're feeling like you're tipping too heavily one way or the other, go back and find the balance. You can do it. And it will bring you a lot more joy in your life. Every day will feel a little bit more fulfilling because you will feel in balance. All right, I hope you enjoyed that, and I'm really excited for some of you to find that alignment in your life, continue to find that alignment in your life. Right now, we are at the beginning of August. We are starting school, fall 2024. It's so insane. September 3rd. And if you have not applied to the university, I highly recommend you do. If you're interested, there is a full state list. We are currently only licensed in 23 states, so you can, I shouldn't say that. We're currently only serving people in 23 states, and you can find that list at uadb.education. So go check that out. You can also see tuitions and fees and all of that good stuff. You can also see the coursework. It's very, very academically rigorous with a really great shot of fun in there. Designing and doing business can be an incredibly fulfilling process, and we're really excited that we get to share that with you at the University of Arts and Design Business. So go check that out. Also, there are, I don't know if there's one going on this week, but I know we have at least one more live design boot camp this month. Make sure and go check it out. We'd love to see you there, as well as I believe we have a summit this month, which is totally free. So if you want to find out what all the things and all the events that are going on, make sure you go to carinagardner.com. If you head there and you can check out events, there's also some new stuff on the homepage. We can't wait to share a lot of design information with you and just get you going. We love sharing this kind of information. So few people are talking about design plus business, and I think that if this is something that really interests you, it is a really fun way to do it. So hope I get to see you soon, and I hope you have a great week.
Did you know you have access to more free design content, die cut files, and sewing patterns? Join our exclusive VIP group for free by going to designsweetcourses.com/free.